Hey, welcome everybody to Libertarian Drinking Coffee Live. Yes, it is 3 p.m. I'm back. You thought Larry's not going to do any more libertarian stuff after Election Day, would he? You were wrong. I'm just not doing people who are actively running, but there are still tons of libertarians all across the country still trying to get stuff done, trying to move our country forward and do the right thing to the best of their ability. Not all of them are running, which is what I say all the time. They're doing all types of things to make things better. If you care about that, then do me a favor. Like, comment, share. It does matter. It's how people know that we're still here. It's how people know that we're getting stuff done. And it motivates people to jump on board too. So do me a favor right now. Like, comment, share. Why do I not see likes and stuff being clicked on it? Because you're looking at me. Stop looking at me and click that button. Click those likes, those comments, those shares. I am very lucky today. Today I have, without question, one of the coolest guys I know in the libertarian world. And I mean that. He's been on my campaign. He has helped people on policy, on strategy. He's been there getting stuff done, doing the work that needs to get done. The man himself, out of the great state of Illinois, Russ Clark. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Larry?
I am doing great. I'm glad you joined me today. By the way, I do have coffee. I don't know if you do, but my brand is strong.
Well, no, I drink coffee in the morning, so I can. I unfortunately am coffee-less, but
I have the drink in the afternoon, or I fall asleep. So that's why I have the drink in the afternoon. That's the whole part. It was just I had to get coffee, so I said, let's do a show when I have to get coffee, or I fall asleep. So very easy. But you have something very special that you want to talk about. And this is something that's happening specifically to people who either currently live in Illinois or have lived in Illinois, or even in the past have, even military members. Tell us about this.
Right. So we all know that Facebook was a bad actor in the 2020 campaign and the 2016 campaign. They've also been a bad actor here in Illinois. Illinois has some of the strongest privacy statutes in the entire country. It is actually illegal for anyone to capture your face or biological information and then turn around and sell it. In 2011, Facebook actually did this, and they started doing this. They would basically they went out, captured all of their members' faces, made a face mask, and started selling it along with their data. This is against Illinois law, and in 2015, there was a lawsuit that was implemented, class action lawsuit against Facebook. That lawsuit has now been settled. So anyone who has lived in Illinois,
it took 5 years.
Yeah, it took another 5 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And the ramifications of this are pretty severe. When some of the initial hearings happened, Facebook was getting their tail kicked in court. So, naturally, Facebook stock price started to decline and things like that. Now it's come back up, but now
Facebook's resilient.
They're crazy resilient, and they can afford to buy up just about anybody.
Yes, they can. I'm waiting for them to buy up my show. Come on, Facebook, if you're watching, write me a check. You can have Libertarian Drinking Coffee Live. I will totally sell out. No worries.
That's right. So if you have lived in Illinois for 6 months or at any time since June 7th, 2011, going up to about 3 months ago, you can actually file on a website, the attorney's website, to submit a claim. Now, the claims are, this isn't like a $5 claim. This is a $200 to $400 check. So
it's the money.
This is worth clicking on the link. We've set up a website. It's www.illinoisprivacy.win, and what that is it's a website where you can click on that. It'll take you to the attorney's webpage. You can file a claim right then and there. And then if you want to go back to our page, you can scroll down and see all the things that the Libertarian Party is doing for privacy rights, not only in Illinois, but in other states as well.
I got 3 things on this. Number one, if you've lived in Illinois for 6 months in the past 9 years or so, you actually have a shot at getting a $200 to $400 check.
Yes.
That pays the bill, Russ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That pays the bill. Not
That
only
pays
that,
the bill.
but yeah. And now you might be thinking, well, maybe this is age limited, things like that. No, if you're a 13-year-old or 14-year-old, if they're living in your house, and let's say that you're one of the many people that moved out of Illinois, you can go back and they're entitled to $200 to $400 too. This is everybody. This is not just adults.
There we go.
You
So if
definitely
only I had like 17 kids in Illinois 6 months ago, I'd make a killing. That was my problem. I
That's
screwed
right.
up. Okay.
One of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you, Larry, about this specifically is that many people who don't know, the Navy has their boot camp here in the
Yes,
state of Illinois. So,
absolutely. Off the Great Lakes.
right. So if you went into the military, or if you went into the Navy within the past 9 years, and you spent 6 months at Great Lakes or more, you can file for this check as well.
So I just
So,
want to be clear. So if you went to your basic training up there, then
mhm.
your home of record wouldn't be there. Your home of record would be some other state wherever you came from. But you're saying home of record doesn't matter. It's whether you live there or not.
It's whether you lived in the state of Illinois for 6 months.
Got
So
it.
now boot camp is 2 months. So if you went to Great Lakes for 2 months and then you swapped out to somewhere else, yeah, you're not going to be covered. But if you were at Great Lakes for, let's say,
Well, no, there might have been. There's other schools there. So I mean, you could have gone there, gone to schools there, or been stationed there. Any of those things.
yes, that's correct.
Gotcha.
So the law does not specifically state that you have to be a permanent resident of Illinois, so to speak. So
Got it. Now that's great to know. I love that. But the
yeah.
second thing I got from this is actually us as a movement taking action, making impact. And this is the stuff we should be talking about every day, all the time. We should be saying, look, we make impact, right? I sit here and I preach like every week. Are we going to make impact? We're going to make impact. Here we go. We're making some impact, right? That people can actually see. So I'm very glad that you're out there doing this kind of work. This is the stuff that, candidates don't do, right? Activists do this work. Candidates don't. Candidates out there smiling, kissing babies and doing that kind of stuff. But we also need people who are activists. And many of us swap back and forth, right? We're activists one week, then we're a candidate the next week, and whatever the case may be. But it just goes to show that we need all aspects of this movement. And the Libertarian Party itself isn't the only, be all end all. It's all parts of this movement.
No, that's correct. I do want to bring up one other thing while we're talking about the website. People only have until November 23rd to file the claim. So this is, people are on the clock. So if you know of people who have lived in Illinois, or let's say that they were in the Navy and you know that they were stationed at Great Lakes for 6 months, or even Scott Air Force bases, which is further south in Illinois. Yeah, they need to file. We need to get as many people as possible to file these claims, so that way Facebook knows that they can't mess around in our elections and steal our privacy.
No, I love it. I mean, the idea that there's actually a price to pay is amazing. It's not just, Facebook. Let's put some regulations to make sure you stay a monopoly, right? Which is what we're trying to do instead. Let's just do that instead. Absolutely, absolutely.
No, and the best part about this.
A candidate can and should be an activist. No, Jason. No, not should. Can. Yes. Should. No. You should be whatever you're best at, Jason. If you're good at being an activist, be an activist. If you're good at being a candidate, be a candidate. If you can do both, be both. Not should. Can. Yes. Should. I want you doing what you do well. That's what I want. If you're good at one, be one. Don't be both unless you're good at both. Or if you can switch the hat, right, and do one at a time and then do the other, then yes. So I'm sorry, Russ, just want to bring that comment up.
No. That's good. Jason's very active here in Illinois. He's actually up in Harvey, helping board up abandoned houses. I don't know if you know where Harvey is, but it's.
I don't. Where is that?
It's an economically depressed area south of Chicago.
Okay.
So they just have a lot of abandoned homes that the city hasn't been able to take care of. They don't do it on their own very well. So, Jason's going out there and actually taking care of business when big government can't. So
Yes.
he's a great guy.
This is the point I bring up all the time. I'm happy to hear that Jason's doing that because, whenever we talk about removing government, and we talk about it all the time, obviously, right? We have to be able to facilitate or in some way show that we can put community in its place, right? Because people still need help, right? People do need help. That's a fact. People will always need help. But we've got to be able to show that whenever you remove government, we have a place for either commerce and or community, preferably both.
Yep.
So guys like Jason doing it great.
Yeah, we need to build that community, definitely.
Absolutely.
So I want to bring it back to that. If you have 10 days, you only have 10 days left if you qualify for this, make sure that you get the claim in. One of the things that I'll be doing, obviously we filed here at our house for the check.
Sure.
We're going to be donating that to agencies like the Libertarian Party that want to fight for privacy rights. So
look at that.
if you can, that's great. If you can't, and you need to pay bills, But
100%. But what I say all the time, depending upon where we are in our life story, there are times when we have more money than time, times when we have more time than money, and times when we have a lot of both or not much of either. So it really depends upon where we are in our lives. And you'll see often I ask people, if you're in a spot where you've got more time than money, give me some time. And if you're in a spot where you got money and time, give me some money. If you got both, give me both. You got neither, you know what? Like, comment, share. I'll see you next year. We'll see if your situation has changed. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that everybody comments and shares on this, so that way we can get the message out that people need to file for this. So I'm really hoping that. And if you know neighbors that may have lived in Illinois, if you know people that have been in the Navy or in the Air Force that have come through and lived here for a period of time, let them know.
Sure.
So just say, hey, I heard this crazy thing on Larry Sharp, and share this podcast.
IllinoisPrivacy.win. And for those who aren't in Illinois, think about Illinois' privacy.win so you can spell it right. So yes. So I know I'm teasing you, obviously. Yes, I know I'm teasing.
Yeah.
But no, but there's something else you wanted to bring up too. It wasn't just that.
Right. So in the state of Illinois, we won a lawsuit against the governor for ballot access, and we were able to run over 34 candidates this year. When normally we can run, we would have been able to just run the 2 statewide candidates.
I know I had a couple on my show. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to, if you would indulge me, kind of give you an update on our results and
no, I love this, and this I
let you know about ballot access.
I want to bring this piece up that people don't get, right? A lot of people keep saying things like, well, the biggest issue is the 2 parties, the duopoly, and blah blah blah, and I agree with that. But a bigger issue is the laws that stop us from getting on the ballot, right? That's actually a bigger issue. They're all issues. I mean, this is not a black and white issue, right? Or a black and white item. Is it right? Am I screwing up my issue item? Anyway, this isn't a black and white thing. There we go. So there are many aspects that affect the third parties from getting on board, right? Obviously, we need money. Obviously, we need better candidates. Obviously, we need more activists. Obviously, more TV time. We need all these things, of course. But most important, we need to be able to get on the ballot when we have that good candidate or that money or that whatever that thing is that we've been able to get. And if we could change the ballot access laws, I mean, that would really be a big deal. But I want to go one step further because I know what you're going to say here. We were able to make something happen in fighting and knowing how. Most people don't know how. I mean, think about this. Kanye West, as popular as he is, and whether you like his music or not, you know who he is. He is popular. That's for sure. He's popular. And not just that, the guy's got boatloads of cash. And he has friends who have boatloads of cash. And he couldn't get on every ballot in America. He only got on, 20 or something like that, whatever he got. Less than 20. Yeah, he got on less than 20 state ballots. That's how hard it is for Kanye West to get on the ballot. Bloomberg was thinking about running independent. Bloomberg, who could, whenever he feels like it, write a check for $500 million. He couldn't get on. That's how hard it was. Now
Mhm.
I've set this up to make you Superman. So please go ahead and show your red cape.
Well, actually, we have a great example. So I'll kind of go down the ticket. Joe Jorgensen hit about the average for nationwide. She only got about 1 to 1.5% here. They're actually still counting votes here, so we don't know the final numbers, but that's where she's going to come in. Our Senate candidate, Danny Maloof, or no, sorry, is it Danny Maloof? Yeah, I think it's Danny Maloof. I always mispronounce his last name. Danny almost got
M.
Danny M. Danny M. also got 2%, roughly in the Senate race. Now, in that race, we had Willie Wilson. So that name may sound familiar to some people. Willie actually got in trouble for handing out $500, $1,000 at church services for people to pay their property tax bills, which is a great thing to do. Problem is that as a federal candidate, you can't do that. You can do that as a state candidate.
You can hand out cash as a state candidate?
Yes. In Illinois, you can be on the ballot and hand out cash.
I'm in the wrong state.
You can't make them promise that they're going to vote for you.
Wow. I'm in the wrong state. I'm coming to Chicago, brother. I could just say here's money. I'm running for governor. Here's money. God. That's awesome.
If you're a millionaire like Willie Wilson, sure. If you're a millionaire, I mean, come on.
Why isn't Bloomberg king of Illinois? He could just
I don't think he knows about it.
Oh, now we messed up. There's your next governor. There's your next governor. Sure.
Well, now we have a billionaire governor too. So that's J.B. Pritzker. Now he didn't hand out billions of dollars to win his
That's
state.
how Bloomberg will unseat him and walk up with $1,000 checks and start giving them out for cash.
$1,000 checks. Yeah. So Willie Wilson is widely known in Cook County, widely well liked, well respected in Cook County. The only county that he got over 5% of the vote in the Senate race was Cook County. He didn't break 5% anywhere else.
Okay.
So he actually formed the Willie Wilson Party. So here in Illinois, if you break 5%, that is the necessary requirement for ballot access. So
got it.
When we're hearing 2% over in New York, we're just like, man, if we had 2%, man, we could do it.
That just shows how bad we are. That's all it is. Yes.
It takes the time. It takes some time. I mean, we've had 10, 12 years now of very, very active chapters in a lot of downstate counties. Believe it or not, it was actually just a struggle to break into Cook County.
I know the feeling. We struggle in New York City too, right? We struggle. We luckily, for those who don't know, I think we have a decent mayoral candidate for next year, which is great. But even that's tough for us to get because it's so hard for the Libertarian Party to break into New York City. It's very hard.
Yep. So now the interesting thing about Cook County, and the reason that I bring it up, we actually had a candidate run for Cook County Attorney General. So everyone knows who the Cook County Attorney General is. That's Kim Foxx. Kim Foxx, who led off Jesse Smollett in the false police report while he's going out and getting his Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. When it's I think it was minus 15 or something.
Those Nigeria MAGA guys.
Yeah, they're crazy people. And our candidate, Brian Dennehy, got 6.6% of the vote. So we, for the first time ever, have ballot access in Cook County. Now, the reason that that's so important for us is that Cook County has about 25% of the Illinois legislative seats, and most of them run unopposed. Is
that right? Most run unopposed?
Yes.
Wow.
Over 30 seats in Cook County went unopposed this past year. So
it's funny. We have a similar situation in New York City, but it's funny. My brain. This shows how broken I am in my own city. I was like, oh, we don't run unopposed. Oh yeah, we do. We just have a primary. Right. So in my head, the primary is now like in my head. I just made the primary the election. Like I knew there'd be no Republican. I mean, it's New York City. There'd be no Republican. That's for sure. So the Democrats run against each other in their own primary, and then that person's anointed as the sleep. Okay, that makes. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of those races actually have that too. They'll have a primary up in Chicago or in Cook County areas. Sometime in March. That's when our primary is, and they'll have 2 or 3 challengers, and then whoever wins that is going to win in November. So,
okay.
Another great success that we had was we had 2 congressional candidates. We've never had that before. Bill Redpath, who a lot of libertarians know, former LNC chair. Yep. He was running in a very hot race with a Republican and a Democrat. He only got 1.7% of the vote, but we did have an unopposed. We were able to run heads up in Illinois 8. So we got 28% of the vote there.
Great.
So, yeah. Unfortunately, because with the congressional seats and the legislative seats, if we do some redistricting, then that ballot access becomes into jeopardy because of state statutes.
Sure.
The funny thing is that Illinois and Wyoming are the only 2 states that are going to have major issues with redistricting next year. The Census Bureau will not release the census tract data. So if you think about it, they'll do a state tally, then they do a county tally, and then they do maybe like city tally, and then they have what's called a census tract. So a census tract is basically, let's say, 5 blocks, 8 blocks of a city. The census tracts is what you actually need to do your redistricting, because you know where the individual people are.
Got it.
The state count is important because that will tell you how many congressional seats you get.
Sure. New York will be losing 2 of them.
Right, we're losing 2 of them too.
That's how bad our states are. I know.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of parallels between Illinois and New York.
Yes.
And our governors are friends too. I mean, that's crazy. Anyways, so we have a congressional mandate or not a congressional mandate. We have a constitutional amendment or a constitutional mandate that the map has to be set June 30th of that year. So we're only going to get the information that we need to do that a month before we actually have to make the map final. So it's us in Wyoming that have that requirement. So next year's going to be very interesting in the state legislature as to how the map is set. It's always an interesting time in Illinois because so many of our districts are gerrymandered to where there are 60-70% Democrat or 60-70% Republican, and
what
a
hurts
lot of
my
people get
state so much, and I think that there should be a total rethinking of how states do the districting. In my opinion, no district should come out of a county. So every district should either be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 counties if you have sparse counties, or part of a county. That's it. I think just be that way. Now, with some minor exceptions here or there, you might want to, a big chunk of a county and half another county or something like that, maybe. But otherwise, it should be based upon the county. The problem is that county legislatures and the county leadership don't coordinate or can't coordinate with their state reps and even their federal reps. Because, you got one guy or gal who's running and her district covers 6 counties and strips of each county and strips of this and mixes of that. In New York City, we have 5 boroughs in New York City, obviously, right? But we have people who cover multiple boroughs. Why? Why would you do that? Like, why would you? Just Queens in my county has 2.2 million people. Why would you have to also count the Bronx in part of it, or Manhattan in part of it, or Brooklyn or Nassau County in part of it? Why? Just to gerrymander.
Right.
Just to gerrymander. Queens, and those who don't know, Queens is very different than Manhattan. Queens is very different than Nassau County. Yet they often share districts. The needs are completely different. If you live in Nassau County, you probably either work locally in a suburban area, or you train into the city. If you live in Manhattan, you walk everywhere. Right? I mean, it's a different way of doing things, a different way, the mindset, everything's different. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm complaining.
What you're describing is exactly what we have in Cook County in the city of Chicago. So, you have suburban Cook County where most people drive everywhere, or they live within 10 to 15, or well, actually, no, not 10, 15 minutes of their place of business, or they're actually taking a train into Chicago to work inside the loop. Obviously, everything is different now with COVID, and we'll see what comes from this.
Even I'm sure Chicago is the same thing as we have in New York. We have areas in New York where just to get an apartment and have rent, a decent apartment, it's going to cost you $5,000 a month. And the same district got a place where it's basically public housing, right? I mean, the needs are completely different. The value is totally different in these two communities, and they're all on the same thing. So yeah, absolutely,
no,
it's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. We actually tried to fix that here in Illinois. 4 years ago, we had a fair maps amendment to take the districting out of the hands of the legislature. Interestingly enough, the House Speaker has his thumbs on the scale, so to speak, and got to the Supreme Court. Now, under the Constitution, we can only change the way that the legislature does business. So this directly impacts the way the legislature does business. Right. The Supreme Court said, nah, it doesn't impact the way that the legislature does business. So we're gonna toss it. Even though we had over 600,000 people sign this petition to put it on the ballot. The swing vote in that 4-3 decision that came out of the Illinois Supreme Court lost confirmation this year. I think they spent $4 million on just one congressional seat, or not congressional seat, judicial seat, and so that'll he's gone too. So
that'll teach them. Don't you care about actual rules and laws and constitution and stuff? Don't do that. This is our town. Yes,
that's right.
It's our town. We make the rules around here.
As a former Chicago mayor once said, Chicago's not ready for reform. So
yes, absolutely.
I think 90 or 100 years later, I still don't think it's ready for reform.
No, it's not. I know. Yeah. Look, you guys are corrupt, but so are we. We're just better at it. Our governors don't go to jail. We're better at corruption, but we still like corruption. Yeah, ours don't go to jail. In our state, all his cronies go to jail. He doesn't.
Oh, okay.
See, we have a better crime boss than you do.
Well, yeah. Our the gentleman that runs the state, who's the House Speaker, he's being investigated for several federal crimes. They think that they're getting close now. I don't know that they're going to get him. We've all been. A lot of people have been waiting for this moment. Nobody has ever actually called for this man to step down, but he's the governor, Senator Durbin, and some of the officials in the House and Senate have actually called for him to step down as Speaker of the House and head of the Democratic Party. So
there's the issue. See, New Jersey does it right. Just merge government and mob together as one, and then no one goes to jail. That's how Jersey does it right. We've just got to figure out we got to get better, more like Jersey. That's our problem. We've still got that kind of separation of mob and government. Yeah, we've got that thing. We probably shouldn't. So anyway, I do want to ask before we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about?
Yeah. So just I want to bring up the fact that we need people to help with the ground game. One of the biggest impacts that we had this year with our legislative candidates was that we actually had people on the ground going out door to door, handing out flyers, talking to people. It was so important. We had a constitutional amendment this year to change our income tax. So Illinois has had a flat income tax since the early 60s. So there's no brackets, no nothing. I mean, everyone pays the same rate. The governor wanted to change that and spent $56 million of his own money to do it. nobody else would go in with him. The public sector unions actually did have their own committee. I think they spent like $5 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a group of other billionaires came together with the Chambers of Commerce and the Farm Bureau and some other folks and formed the Vote No. We were out as a Libertarian Party. We were out handing out information and basically just letting people know, hey, this is the changes that are coming. If you vote yes, you're voting for a marriage penalty, because married people were actually going to pay more in tax than they would if they were single. You also were the tax cut, because they were advertising a tax cut, was basically $50 a year. If you made $100,000,
I'd rather apply for the Facebook thing. I get more money from that.
Facebook's going to pay you more.
Absolutely, yeah.
Once the settlement comes through, Facebook is going to pay you more than what you would have saved in taxes voting for this in 4 years.
I'm gonna do the Facebook
4
thing.
years minimum. So yeah,
yes, that's crazy. So no, I love what you're saying, because what I love is I talk about this all the time when it comes to people, growing their local chapters or their local affiliates or whatever the case may be. Once the election's over, very often we get down like, oh, the election's over, now what? And we just want to forget about it. Who cares? See you guys in 4 years, right? I don't want us to do that. And I think the way we grow, after the election is over, or anytime, is by what you're talking about, by each individual, either state party or local county party, or however you're organized, having a mission, having a task, a goal. Let's get out and whatever, fight the income tax. Let's get out and get Facebook to write us a check, right? Whatever is the thing, right? Let's get ballot access, right? This is the thing that I really want us, and I hope people are listening. If you're trying to grow your local chapter, if you're trying to grow your state party, it's not about organizing. That isn't the first step. The first step is, why the hell are we here? What are we doing? And when someone like Russ goes, let's go beat up the income tax, everybody goes, yeah. Now we organize. Right? We organize once we find the mission. Then we organize.
Right. And that's such a critical thing that you were talking about, Larry, because we've spun up. We've gotten a lot of activists out there. They're jazzed and ready to go after Election Day. They're like, what's the next thing? Well, I've got an idea. Here's the next thing. Go out, tell people to go to www.illinoisprivacy.win and sign up and get a check from Facebook, probably sometime next year, for their privacy rights. Yep. So
I love that. $200 to $400. That pays a bill. That's a bill you got that you just wrote. You just paid that bill. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, all right, Russ, I appreciate it. Everybody else, thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry, for
watching.
letting me come on.
Absolutely, I do appreciate it. Well, you're the first Libertarian Drinking Coffee live after the election, so I guess that's some special honor. I guess.
Oh, I'll take it.
Here's your fake medal.
I have no complaints.
There we go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Russ, I will see you all soon.
All right. Thank you.